Hello and welcome to this video. So I spotted another opportunity on the market to make a small amount of extra gold, and I think this one has got a little bit more in it than the previous tip, because I think this one is going to be a little bit longer standing, and I think that actually this might be a really viable way to make money with the upcoming patches and the changes to the crafting system. So what are we talking about? Well, I will tell you in just a second, but first I want to invite you to hit that subscribe button, because subscribing means that you will stay up to date with all the latest news, tips, tricks and guides for New World. And if you don't want to subscribe, that is super cool. Instead, just hit that thumbs up button and then YouTube will recommend you my content when it feels that you will enjoy it the most. But bear in mind, when it comes to strategies like this, the more people know about them, the quicker they will become unviable. Now, I'm okay with that. I'm not here to become a millionaire in New World. I have the fun in finding these things and sharing them. So that's basically why I'm doing it. I have resigned to the fact I am never going to be in the top X% of this game. So I'm okay with that. So I'm going to share this with you. And so maybe somebody can use this to really push themselves into that top X%. So, okay, let's look at what I'm doing. Essentially, I am looking at the infused leather. So this is infused leather, right? This is like the high tier crafting material, goes into a lot of your armoring leveling. So if you're leveling up armoring right now, this is the material that you want to be using right now. And in upcoming patches, this is going to be more important because they're changing how the XP works in the crafting system in upcoming patches according to the PTR. So this is currently selling at 417 at the lowest right now, and we can also look at the current buy orders, and you can see that people do want this. And I appreciate this is not a price that we want to be considering, but this just shows that people do want this and they're willing to wait for it if somebody is willing to sell to them at this price. So in order to make this, we're actually going to refine this from the very, very basic ingredients. We're going to look at starting from the rawhide level and buying everything that we need up until that. And the reason I'm saying we're going to buy this as opposed to farming this is because although yes, you can just farm like the rawhide yourself. You know, I'm making 100 infused leather, and that's going to take me 1300 rawhide, and it's not a difficult task to get this rawhide. But there's the one constant in this game that doesn't change. This is the only thing with a constant value, and that is time. And what you always need to consider is, can you make more money doing a different task? Now, when you have to buy something and refine it, this is only going to take a few minutes. If you are gathering it, you have to add that few minutes onto the time it takes to gather, and then you need to be asking yourself, could I profit more by doing something else? Now, I've tested farming rawhide at the absolute optimum level that I can achieve using proficiency potions, having my orichalcum skinning knife on there. So, you know, I'm farming this at the fastest level, and even then, the amount that I can obtain, if I was to just sell that, I wouldn't be able to obtain as much gold as if I was to do something different, you see. So you do need to take that into consideration. Now, to begin with, in order to make 100 infused leather, we are looking at starting off with rawhide. So let's grab the rawhide, and also I'm going to pop a notepad on the screen as well. So there we go, we've got our notepad, and we're going to start with rawhide, and this is currently at 0.11, and we need 1344 of that. Okay, a little bit of faffing around there because prices are a little bit up and down, but if getting the lowest price per unit that we can, then this is what we need to do. So 175.87 that we have spent on rawhide. The next thing we need is tannin, and we need the aged tannin. Now, right now, this is so cheap. It's ridiculous. It's 0.03, and yeah, we need 304 of these things, and I'm literally just going to go at the 5.05 of these just for convenience because it's so ridiculous. So I'm going to buy 305 of that. 1608 tannin equals 6.08. So this is including all the fees that I'm using, and we need thick hide and iron hide now. The thick hide, again, 0.15. It is super cheap, and we're going to need 660 of these. So 104.39. 104.39, right? So buy that, and iron hide. So this, I'd say this is expensive for what iron hide actually is. Like, if we do all settlements, look, we can get it as low as 0.01, but I do not have the inclination to go across there for 660. I mean, so you're looking at at 6.6 coins versus 33 coins. So, you know, it can add up, you know, you do you, whatever you want to do, but this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to buy it at this just because of convenience right now. So that brings us to 34.79, 34.79. Right, so just to make sure I've got everything, I've got my raw hide, I've got my tannin, I got my thick hide, I have my iron hide. That should be everything that we need. So next thing, let's go and make some leather. Right, okay, so of course leather we need. So the way this is going to work is that I get a bonus from my leatherworking skill, and let me show you as well. I'm wearing full tanner's gear, yeah? So this is giving me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10% yield when I am in the tannery. And I just want to kind of highlight something as well, because people misunderstand what it means when you look here, it says chance to craft additional items. Some people misunderstand what this means specifically, but when we look at these items, it actually says yield, and this is added to this amount. So yield and chance to craft additional items in this game are interchangeable, and when you look at it mathematically, this makes sense, because to craft 100 of these items, I should expect 30% or more items than I've crafted. So in this particular case, I can craft 336 items. My expectation for this is I will come out with about 436 extra items, and not extra items, 436 items in total. So this may not be dead on, it might be a little bit lower and it may be a little bit higher, but on average it generally works out as that will be the number that you will be hitting. Now this video is probably going to embarrass me by not giving me the right amount, but let's go ahead and see. Now we need to add on the tax as well for crafting all these, which is 239. So let's say for leather, we don't want caps lock on. Leather tax equals equals 2.39. Right, let's craft these and see how many we get. So we got 430 there with a bonus. So I actually fell 6 short on that one, right? So I do need to, in order to hit my numbers, I'm going to have to like grab those extra 6, and this is just because I'm dealing with lower numbers, so the percentages can be up and down, and you know, if I was to say do 1,000, I would probably get a lot closer to that average number, but that's not a major issue. Okay, so I just bought the extra 6 that I needed just for the sake of the video, but I have added the fees onto the total costs just for complete and utter transparency. Now this is where we get into the using the tannin. Now the reason that we are using aged tannin here is because you actually get a 93% bonus if you have leatherworking skill 200 with the extra 10% items, 10% with the extra 10% you get from the tanner's items. That brings us to 103% chance to craft additional items. So we're basically getting over double what we're getting here. So let's just pop that straight up there. We need to write down the crafting fees as well. So leather 3.1, we craft these, and I'm expecting that we'll probably get about 165 out of this, perhaps. We'll see. So we actually got we needed 221 and we got 219. So this is kind of infuriating now that it's just embarrassing me like this. Luckily I've got some in storage, so I'm just gonna kind of say, okay, well, we'll pretend that this worked on, because of the averages, it would work over time with larger amounts. I'm not gonna needlessly waste money. So okay, so let's refine this into layered leather. So this we can craft 110 of these, and this is hopefully going to give us 165. Again, I'm doubting my luck today, but let's give it a shot anyway. So that is 5.48 in fees. So crafting these, we are getting 166, right? So it's actually worked in my favor this time, just slightly, because we needed 165 to be able to craft 100 infused leather. Right, so that's good. And now finally, this brings us on to the infused leather. So again, using the aged tannin gives you typically a 13% chance to craft additional items, but now with the tanner's gear, you get an extra 10%. So that gives you 23% chance to craft additional items. So if we're looking at crafting 83, that should give us, oh look, my axe completed, 8740. That's interesting. And I'm gonna just come back to that in a minute after I finish this video, because that's significant. I've just sold that axe. Anyway, so yeah, 83, I'm looking at 23% extra, so I should be getting around 100. So let's see where we end up. 110 102. There we go. It worked out for the best. So even when you take into consideration the extra fees that I put into this just to like buy that deficit of leather, I've actually come out with a higher amount. So this just kind of emphasizes the point that I was making, that the numbers are up and down, but on average it pretty much gets the number, you know, dead on. The more you do it, the more accurate it's going to be. Right, so basically, oh shoot, I didn't even check the amount of crafting that was going to cost. 1 second, I just need to update that. Okay, so for infused leather, it was 7.69. Right, so those are all the fees that I've used today, but we did also output 102, which was higher than what we were aiming for. Okay, let's figure out how much, well, not figure, I'm going to add up how much this is going to cost. So total costs equals 351 and 58. That's an absolute total cost, everything all in, that I spent just doing this just now. Right, so let's pop across to the trading post and let's look at selling. Right, so I already had some infused leather, but we're looking at 100 and 102. Right, now the current price up and down between 419 and 405. I could probably jump there. I'd say 4117, but not 4117, 4.17. Right, so that would give us an earning per unit of 385 and listing fee of 1388. So if we say 7 days, then it brings the total to 381 and 5. Right, so as a comparison there, that's 30 coins profit. Okay, so let's actually 30.27 if we're going to be precise. But the thing to like realize right now is that this is just based on 100 infused leather, which is not a lot of infused leather whatsoever. Right, so to put that in perspective, the XP that you currently need to go from level 0 right through to level 200 is 1.88 million, right? So that means that in order to get enough XP, 1.88 million, you're going to need 6,745 infused leather just to do that. So just imagine how many people are leveling up the crafting. So like for one person, for example, let's just kind of like hypothetical here, one person leveling up the crafting, you'd be earning like 200 grand off what it takes for one person to level up, you know. So it's about scaling it as best you can and keeping an eye on the markets. Now, a lot of people probably will have dropped off the video by this point because they're like, I don't need 30 extra coins, right? Okay, fine, bye. You know, you're missing the point of this video, right? Right now, there's going to be a change in the crafting system and the way it works, as I've briefly touched on. And basically, you're going to need more XP in order to level up, but they're also changing the XP that you gain from crafting different items. So the higher level items are now going to give more XP, and what they're trying to do is funnel the crafting in the direction of the higher you get, the higher that you craft. So in terms of the economy, this I think is going to have a knock-on effect, and this is a very good reason that I am not pressing place order right now. I'm going to keep these leather because I believe that people are going to want to buy more of these high tier items. Now I might be wrong, but this is my prediction. I'm going to predict that the price of infused leather is going to go up. And also, I believe that the price of tannin is going to go up. You might have noticed that I've got a few tannin just sat there in my inventory. I have tannin spread around other settlements as well. So I'm gambling that the price of crafting is going to go up for the high tier materials. Now, if you want to take a punt and put a few hundred gold into buying tannin, then yeah, you might end up making a profit. But, you know, as with all investments, you stand to lose money, as they say in the adverts. So I think that's the takeaway that we're going to say from here, that, you know, this is a profitable thing, and I think there's going to be a demand for it. So forget about the small profit, because this is just a very, very small sample that we're using. Okay. Right. Now, one other thing that I mentioned in the video that I really, really desperately want to highlight is that I just sold an axe. So I listed a bog standard grey logging axe, and this was from a previous video. If you want to see that previous video, I'm going to put it in the end screen. So go check that video out. Now, people in the comments said, no one's going to buy these grey axes. Who's buying these? You know, your theory's crap, but no one's going to buy this crap. I'm putting these comments on the screen for you right now, just so you can see exactly what's being said. And this axe sold, as you saw while filming this video. That axe sold. I listed it this morning when the trades come back up, and it sold. It's literally been a couple of hours. followers. So for the people that are telling me that I'm wrong, there's your proof that I am right. And I hope that gives you, as the viewer, the confidence that I'm not talking garbage. I appreciate this is not a get rich quick scheme, but I am not talking shit here. It's important that you find little avenues for revenue sources, and when you add them all up, all of a sudden you've got a lot more money than you could imagine. Just got to put the effort in. That's all it comes down to. Right, so I'll leave it there. I have gone on a little bit. I appreciate that some people like videos to just get to the point, and so hopefully I'm going to be able to trim out a lot of the silences and a lot of the blah blah. But if you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a prosperous day. Sorry, I just had a thought. The Tanner's gear, there's not too much of it, but it's cheap, so go grab that while you can, because that will definitely run out. Okay, bye.